Good afternoon. I'd first like to personally welcome all of you here today. Really appreciate you all coming. As Dr. Favli said, I am one of two student speakers speaking today. Terrence will be shortly coming up. I actually called Terrence a few weeks ago before pinning, and I asked him, I said, hey, are you speaking at pinning? He said, yeah, apparently. And I was like, do you mind if I go first, because you're such a better public speaker than I am? He's like, sure. He's like, but what are you going to say? And I was like, I don't know, I'm just going to wing it. So here we are. Good luck, Terrence. But it actually came to me a few weeks ago what I was going to talk about today. And it's the same question that everyone always asks me, my friends, my family. I say, I'm graduating from AIC. Everyone gives me that weird look, AIC, well, what's that? So I have to explain that's American International College, it's in Springfield, Mass. And they always ask me, why AIC? Well, that's easy, because it's the only school I got into. But I must say, if I knew 4 years ago what I know today, AIC would have been the only school I applied to. Not to mention, I would have saved a lot of money on application fees. But this program here at AIC really begins with all the professors here. We started with Dr. Janicek. It was a tough session in summer. It was a 4-week rapid anatomy class that we struggled, but we all came in and we did good. But she was the one that gave us our foundation, our anatomy, our neuroanatomy, to be successful in our future profession. And because of her, I will never forget what the cremaster reflex does. For those in the audience, you can have your son and daughter explain that later. Then we have Dr. Klappus. Someone who impressed me instantly with her knowledge and skills, someone I could talk to, but more importantly, someone I could always argue test questions with and get points back. Thank you. She really is truly one of a kind. And I know this because there aren't many professors that would do a dab in class or just start flossing in the middle of lab. Again, for those who don't know that reference, ask your son or daughter. And I can't talk about Dr. Klappus without mentioning her partner in crime, Dr. Davis. I say that because when you have a class or a lab with these two, learning becomes fun. Actually, I've heard so many stories from Dr. Davis, I feel like I'm part of her family now. But I will say, her personality is one that will really be missed. I don't have the time to talk about every professor, but there is someone else I would like to acknowledge. Someone that we can never get away with every semester, every year. Her classes were difficult. And not because of her, there was just so much more detail to be explained, and we just never had enough time, and she knew that. Which is why after every time she would explain something, she would say two things. Clear as mud, and then say, are you with me? At that moment, those became my two least favorite phrases in grad school. I would just look around the room and everyone had the same face on. We would just continue on. So, now that we're studying and taking our practice board exams, I want to thank Dr. Fabulous because I've realized how much we've actually learned from you. But I must say, it's so clear as mud. So thank you. These professors are not only good at teaching and lecturing, but they are good listeners. I personally have sat in every single one of those professors' office and spoke with them about something, whether it's a test, an assignment, about life. And I know I'm not the only student who's done that. They've been a professor, a mentor, and a leader throughout this program. And I'm excited to now call you my colleague. Grad school is difficult though. Many of us had to figure out new ways of studying. Our class was a very competitive one, but I have to say from our first test 3 years ago to our last final, we always had each other's back. We all had that moment of stress where we didn't understand something and we'd call or text each other. We found out quickly who would respond instantly with the answer. I sometimes would text Jason at 8 or 9 o'clock and I'd ask him a question. I'd always get 1 or 2 responses. What class are you even talking about? Or he'd answer me 2 hours later and say, sorry, I just woke up from a nap. He had the weirdest sleeping schedule. I do want to leave you with one good example though that really defines our class. It was actually during finals week of our first Clin Med class that was very difficult for me and a few others. I called my buddy Todd to come help me study in the library. Todd can't calculate a 12-to-1 ratio ramp, but he knew a lot about this class. And when Todd came to the library to help me out, he walked in and saw me writing a word on the whiteboard and it said antigen. and I wrote out the definition. And he said, oh boy, we're starting from the beginning. Because this was a word we learned from day one. And he stayed with me the entire night. We studied and we passed the final. It's moments like this that really defined our class. And we always made the most out of everything. And I know I wouldn't want to spend grad school anywhere else but here. So now, when people ask me why I chose AIC, I have about 40 reasons, and they're all sitting on stage with me today. Thank you guys.